And we should now be live. Good evening, everyone. Let me just double check everything's working correctly on OBS. I believe that it is. Excellent, good. How are we doing? I know there's a few of you already in chat. Hello Rob, Nicholas is here. Kairu is here, Berenson, Sarcastic Paleontologist. One Chuff Frog I think might also be here, a few others, Atifa. Yeah, how am I? I'm doing pretty good. Me and the guys today recorded our next tea with Triclaw that will be out toward the end of this month. So yeah, that's going fine. And yes, back to the Roaring Islands. The whole Fletcher family is here. So you might remember that last stream I had tremendous difficulty just trying to get something to work. And, well, I had to have a break. I had to have a little drinky and a bit of a break. And then a few days ago, I did all this. So, we now have a proper glass tunnel. Just to, you know, have our entrance in here. We have a bit of a fountain entrance here. We have preset areas for seating. For decorations have already gone in. We've got our little amenities at either end. We've got a shop up here, because you always need a shop near a specifically important thing. I swapped out the islands for something a little smaller, because I just didn't think, I didn't like how big they were. And here we have a little bit of a museum that I have constructed from the rest of the Devonian era stuff that we've been given. So we've got a little bit of a sort of area for our display posters, Megalodon jaws, Dunkleosteus, Titanicles, and yeah, just a nice sort of mini museum thing at the end. What a break does to a man. Exactly, Atifa. And yes, last stream we added, we basically finished the area up here for the T-Rex. We now have our single female and 2 male T-Rex. Be nice. Apparently not. Well, the mini museum turned out all right. There's a few things I still want to do with it. Once Viral Cyclops finishes my mod, I want to put the Jurassic World sails coming off the back of these concrete things, so it just looks a little bit more not as flat on the roof. Yeah, I think it all looks pretty good. So today, the jobs are, I want to basically make this lagoon, finish this lagoon, finish the decorative areas around here and here, and then think about what we're going to do with the rest of this lagoon place, basically. You can see I've already, you know, been outlining things with the hedgerows and stuff, just to make them not so ugly. But that's the whole idea. Hello, Archie. And yeah, like we say, today is lagoon. Ooh, sorry, I haven't finished dinner too long ago. Yes, today is all about the lagoons. At least this one, anyway. Now, I did discover something very interesting the other day while I was messing around with these rocks. So, if you have Kyodenics mod, you'll know or you'll know you have the control 1, 2, and 3 to turn off snapping. Now, as standard, the lagoon rocks snap to the height of the lagoon water. However, if you turn, I think it's control and 1, which turns off the snapping, they actually sink. Now, I don't know how this might be useful yet. But maybe it's... I don't know, maybe if you wanted to make sort of a resting post... Well, I haven't tested if the animal can still interact with them yet. Maybe we could do that quickly now as a little bit of an... Ah, interesting. Hang on. What? So it shows it underwater, but it doesn't spawn underwater. It snaps back to height. How odd. Oh, I'm a bit depressed now. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It just snaps back. Oh well. I thought I'd discovered something. But it turns out I had not. I'm slightly depressed now. Oh well. Right. So this Dunkleosteus Lagoon, or Devonian Lagoon, it's not just going to have Dunkleosteus in here, it's going to have a few other animals in here as well. What sort of environment shall we go with? Any ideas of what we could do? Because it's quite a big space here. There's a lot of space at the back. So we've got a lot of potential for doing some big decorative stuff here. We could do something rocky, but I was thinking maybe we could add a very large decoration in. Yeah, so what I want to try and do, Kairu, is have Dunkleosteus, Titanichthys, basically all the Devonian animals in this lagoon. Or at least try to. But I would like some sort of very big... It's way too big. Some sort of very big decorative item that we can put down in there. We could try something silly like this. Of course, the flames would still work underwater, so it doesn't really work. That's kind of a nice structure, but it doesn't make that much sense underwater. Hello, wandering rambler. I think I might just go for my my standard sunken church. It's kind of a standard I go with these days, or maybe we could do a boat actually. Hang on. Let's do a boat. Well, let's do a sunken ship. So I'm thinking... I wanted to kind of sink it slightly. I'm gonna have to do the angles on the surface. That's a bit much. Let's... something like that, maybe. Okay. Now let's sink it. It's like we're sinking it for real, look at that. I think that's okay. Now let's add in quite a few lagoon rocks. How much did my PC cost? Enough. Yeah, so my PC came to about over £1,000. But you have to, you know, that sounds expensive, but that was on a contract, so I didn't have to pay that up front. My PC technically costs me about £38 a month, which is about $45 a month. And it's set to be finished paying off within all the interest and stuff. I think I finish paying it off next year. I think I'll have to check that. That for me was an acceptable price tag. I could have spent a little bit more, and I kind of wish I did, but I didn't think Jurassic World Evolution 2 was going to be as badly optimized as it was. I built the PC with Jurassic World Evolution 2's system requirements in mind, as well as Prehistoric Kingdoms. It's just a shame that both games turned out to be less optimized than I thought they were going to be. Let's just put it like that. I've been playing Zoo Tycoon 2. Ugh. That takes me back. Zoo Tycoon 2. I used to love that game with all the Walking with Dinosaurs mods on it, especially. My zoo became basically a breeding farm for Coelophysis. Have a few more. Things here. Okay, next up, gonna have a mix of kelp types around here. Let's put some lightweight kelp. I do like mixing the kelp types. As much as I think the frontier kelp is really cheap looking, I think it works if you mix it with modded kelp quite nicely. Kind of a lightweight kelp. Hello, Luna. £1,000. That's like 1 American in weight. Very good walking with birds. Very good. Oh, well, that's good news, Sarcastic. I mean... Oh, it's one of the common complaints I hear about people when they say that they would prefer to be a console gamer because console gaming is cheaper than a computer. It isn't really. Not if you think about it. This computer I'm playing on now has lasted me the last 3-4 years. I think this is year 4. Goliath is in year 4 at the moment. Without any changes to its hardware or anything like that, without needing any upgrades or anything, it's lasted me 4 years. And it's not really desperately in need of an upgrade. Maybe it might be for Jurassic World Evolution 3, we'll have to see, but I don't think it will need a serious upgrade for that. And if I upgrade it to the next generation of parts, it will last me another good 4 or 5 years. And I think the problem with those that kind of denounce PC gaming is, oh, it's too expensive and blah, blah, blah. If you think about how often you're changing a console and everything you need for a console, like all the peripheries for console gaming, I kind of feel like the price, there isn't much difference between the cost of a PC and the cost of a games console. And to me, a PC is so much more than a games console. It's my editing platform. It's given me my YouTube channel, or our YouTube channel. It gives me access to all of my buddies across the world. It lets me write do my writing. It lets me access the internet and a wealth of information. A PC is not just for gaming. It's an investment in a lot more than that, and that's kind of it's kind of why I don't like it when people are like, "Oh, PC gaming is so expensive. Consoles are better." And it's like, well, they're not though. Not really. I think that looks good. I think we need a few spires here. Maybe one. One. Maybe we could have like a spire like in there. I feel that's a bit empty. That bit. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Few other things here. I want to leave this area mostly clear around the shark just to prevent any problems. I do think we've got a bit of an area between these two, which I'm just gonna stick some kelp here. And a few little bits of coral. Go. You got an RTX 4060 for your computer, and even then it struggles to stay at 60 frames per second when I begin to include more complex prefabs. Yeah, see, that's the biggest problem, is there's a significant lack of optimization with a lot of modern games, and it's what causes most of the problems. Like, I'm on a 3050 Ti, so it's an 8GB card. But it really struggles with Prehistoric Kingdom, and it really struggles with this game sometimes. And it really shouldn't. Not really. Like, I massively overpower the system requirements, so I can only imagine how poorly this game runs for people that do not have more powerful hardware. I can't imagine running this game on anything less potent. Maybe a 1080 or something. And the only reason that games have become so badly unoptimized lately is cost, essentially. They don't want to spend money on the optimization procedure and getting people into QA it and everything else. It's literally just them saving money. Which I find kind of ridiculous. We got the big ship over that side. Over this side. just do like a little vent arrangement. Oh, chat is busy today. Walking with birds. I am not from Birmingham, and thank God I'm not. Honestly, if I was from Birmingham, you guys would not be able to understand me. I don't even understand the Birmingham accent quite a lot of the time. The Brummie accent is really, really difficult to understand. My accent is more or less like South England. I've basically lived in the south of England my entire life. Moved around a lot, so it's not like specific to one area. It's not very Londony. It's not very South Coasty, Devon, Cornwall, that sort of place. It's just very sort of random all over South England. Right. Yeah, I am comfortable with this. I don't want to do too much decoration, because the more decoration you put in, the more sluggishly the frame rate becomes over some of these places. Yeah, I think that looks pretty decent. In fact, we can have a proper look if we do this. So if we go down below decks, as it were,
these mesmerizing animals are not actually dinosaurs.
And then do Alt F2, which brings up NVIDIA Ansel. And if we escape our thing, we can see what it looks like without the water texture. I think that looks pretty good.
They did live.
Right. Let's go get some animals in here, shall we? Which means going and looking for some skins. Now, before I do that, let's figure out how many of these animals we're going to actually have in here. So where is Dunk? Dunk is there. Okay, I think one Dunk, two Dunks might be too much, because considering we're having Titanicles in here too. One Dunk, one Titanicles, and a handful of the others. Maybe two Dunks or two Titanicles. Okay. Let's head back to main menu. I did just say that, didn't I? 21, 23. Yes, I did. Okay. Back to main menu. And let's get up a notepad file. Oh, chat is very busy today. I'm gonna have to scroll up to see what's been said. I haven't had a chance to watch Gobi yet, Rob. I'm kind of wanting to binge watch them while I script write at some point. Hey Fletcher, do you remember seeing Miss Marple on television? I do. I think, vaguely. I think ITV2 had it on. Oh, Berenson goes and mentions the mutant in chat. Your bed collapsed, Joshua. That raises further questions. Oh, that's pretty cool, Walking with Beds. I'm a big fan of Rowan Atkinson. So, what shall we have for our Dunkleosteus? Let's see. What main color? I want something that's going to stand out. It's quite a nice coloration. Pretty sure that's the same as the Megalodon. If we had that color, what would we then be able to put with it? I like that. I think the blue works better though, if I'm honest. If we're going strictly on what looks better, I think the blue looks better than the yellow, but... What's going on in chat? I'm seeing Wandering Rambler shout, "No, we must change." I like using one of the green skins to make it resemble a bass in Taiga maps. I suppose with the green it would be alright. But I do kind of prefer that lighter coloration. So, the Dunkleosteus, it will have Great Sandy Desert and Pelophylax. Yeah, this is just going to be for Devonian period animals, Brinson. Right, the Titan Ichthyes. From what I remember, its skins are not fantastic. Yeah, not great. I kind of like the blue. There's no way to really give it a nicer stripe color. Yes, this mod I do remember that the patterns don't really do much. So I think we will just go for the bog standard greenish pattern. So Titan Ichthyes is Death Valley. Then the 10 canvas. Let's go for something very different. Run there. I quite like the pinkish spots on that one. So on this 10 canvas, we'll go for Killian Mountains, Killian Mountains, and Pelophylax. Okay, walking birds, see you later. The next game should add more placid lagoon species like Lesichthes and Atopendentatus. Is that how you pronounce that one? I do agree with you there. It's what I call family-friendly species. It's animals that you could feasibly take your kids to and them not get scared shitless. And I fully agree. That's why I still think to this day that the aquatic animal pack DLC is the most important one and the best one for the game. Because it basically added a huge bunch of family-friendly animals and then Dunkleosteus. Like, you couldn't ask for a better DLC, really. Bye, Wandering Rambler. Thank you for popping in. But no, I fully agree that a wider range of lagoon animals is definitely... I will do, Kyrie, because I don't think I've heard of Atopen. I'll look it up now, actually. Atopen. Can I just copy it from the chat? There we go. Oh my lord. What a weird animal. What a weird head. Yeah, okay, that is definitely a very weird animal. That head is very bizarre. Very, very peculiar. Okie dokie. Let's get our animals in. Let's start with our Dunkleosteus. We're only going to have the one of these. Great Sandy Desert and Pelophylax. Actually, this one time might be where I mess about with the animal. Socializing. Okay, let's make it very social and very tolerant. Okay. We want him to be as tolerant as possible. Considering the animals that we're going to have living alongside it.
En route to collect the asset.
Let's get our dunk in there. And let's get our 2 Titan Ichthyes. Blank pattern, Death Valley. Oops. These ones we want to be very social, and very tolerant. Oh. That's better. When you speak English at home, I talk accent-wise like a Brit Aussie.
Asset requiring collection. Transporting asset.
Park is shut. Okay, 10 Canthus. We're giving them Pelophylax and Killian Mountains. We're going to make them tolerant. We're going to make them social. We're not going to give them any weaknesses. We're going to go with 5 10 Canthus. That's not too many.
Picking up asset. Task received.
Oh, actually, better put some fish feeders in here, shouldn't I? Marine fish feeder. Int 1 and int 2. That should be sufficient. Is that our dunk?
Selected.
I think that it is. It's just so bizarre. Here are our Titan ichthyes on the way. They're fish! They would die by the time you got them there.
Asset being transported.
Oh well. Frontier is gonna frontier, I guess.
Asset transportation in progress.
I have no idea what you two are talking about in chat.
Asset transported.
Ah,
Transit has commenced.
our beloved Dunkleosteus is in his paddock. Enclosure. Lagoon. You found the pronunciation of that animal that I couldn't say is
Transportation complete.
Mniamawamatukamawamkia. What a mouthful. Ah, there's our Titan ichthyes. He's immediately hiding amongst the kelp.
Asset has been transported.
There's a hub. Ah, the Titan ichthyes eats from the shark feeders. Or tries to eat from the shark feeders? Feeding. Ah, interesting.
Assets in the air.
Does it only eat from the shark feeder? It says it needs fish. I suspect the Titan ichthyes might be broken. I think the problem with the Titanichthyes is that it needs fish only. But the rig is going to want to... Yeah, look, he keeps trying to eat from the... Okay, I think we're gonna have to get rid of this. Come here. Goodbye. Okay. I think it's clear that the Titanichthyes doesn't work as well as hoped. So, what we will do... what we'll do is we'll get another couple of dunks. I think the Titanichthyes would be fine if it was just in an enclosure with just fish. But because I've got the shark feeders there for the dunk, I think it would be constantly fucking up like that. So, I mean, why are we getting really shoddy mixtures of animals all of a sudden? What? Did it just reset my things for it? No, it's just being a pain in the ass. There we go. Ooh. Yeah, it's constantly trying to eat from the shark. If you just had the fish feeder, I think we'd be fine. Tencanthus are apparently lonely. Oh, that's because the rest are on their way. Now let's get the Bungatis. It's a shame we can't put the Titanichthyes in there, but... You know, small problems. Oh. Poor Titanichthyes got sent to the Shadow Realm. Okay, let's not be... I see chat is going in an interesting way between the great folks who live in Germany. Let's not be talking about particular scenes in modern-day Germany, shall we?
Confirming asset delivery.
Let's try and keep it PG-13.
Asset to be collected. Acknowledged.
Okay. That should...
Asset in transit.
Are you lonely? You've only got three. Three? Oh, the others are on the way. I'm concerned about what this Dunkleostis is up to. Oi, you're not going to go and annoy those Tencanthus, are you, guy? You don't want to be messing around with them. You're going to leave them alone. There should be enough. I'm thinking there should be enough fish in here, and shark,
asset transit.
for at least the 3 dunks to be fine. The Devonian fishies are very shark-like, Nicholas. In fact, I like using the Tencanthus as like high bodus in Jurassic lagoons. Francesca, I prefer the new ideas for the game in Jurassic World Evolution 3 than the same old stuff. I suppose it depends what new ideas they decide to do. There are some things which I think are totally the wrong ideas. Yesterday in Evo's all-day stream, there was some very, what I would classify as bad takes from people suggesting features for new features for Jurassic World Evolution 3. Someone at one point in particular suggested a first-person survival mode using the first-person camera, and I'm like, my problem with a lot of the suggestions that people have for new features for Jurassic World Evolution 3, my issue is that a lot of the features that get requested, they have absolutely nothing to do with park management games. None of them have anything to do with the sort of the point of the game, which is to make a good park. A lot of them are just sort of gimmick features that people, for some reason, really, really want. The problem with a gimmick feature is that the people that like claim to really, really want it, they won't be the ones playing the game for longer than a couple of months. And I feel it's kind of sucky that they would suggest these features that really add nothing to the game, and then they probably don't even go and play it afterwards. Or people suggest features that are completely impractical. You know, the people that want to make your own hybrid system, it's completely impractical to even suggest that they could do that, just with the sheer number of animals that are in the game. Yeah, there are ways around doing it. I came up with a way around doing it for a video on this some time ago. But, you know, the general idea that you can just make whatever hybrid you like from every single animal in the game, it's just not a practical system. There are definitely ways around it, Kairu. I'm not saying it could never be done. It just sometimes feels like people don't think about that part. They think about the, oh, let's have this make your own hybrid system without really thinking about how it would work. You agree with mammals being in the game, Francesca? See, I don't. I think if I was pressured to decide whether I would be for or against mammals, I would be against them. Only because Frontier would not pick interesting mammals. And I feel like the current roster already has a great deal of very lackluster animals in it. And Frontier would not be picking interesting mammals. They would pick the mammals that you'd expect.
Like other placoderms, Dunkleosteus was actually nevertheless.
So I think mammals being added to the game is a very personal sort of thing as well. I personally don't find prehistoric mammals all that interesting. I find some of the earlier groups definitely interesting. In fact, I think it wasn't it this week's video? Ooh, what was this week's video? Give me one moment to look up on YouTube what this week's video was, because I thought I went over this in this week's video for Tricor. No, it's scheduled for next week. So Wednesday, Wednesday's video is where I'm talking about what mammals I would actually like to see in the game. So I won't spoil that. But yeah, I think there are plenty of interesting mammals. The problem is Frontier won't be picking them. And if Frontier are only going to pick the boring or the typical obvious choices, then I'd rather not have mammals at all. So I don't want a woolly elephant and woolly rhino and smilodon, to be honest. They aren't the mammals I'm interested in. I'd be quite interested in seeing the ones I'm going to talk about this week in the video. But a woolly mammoth, eh. Plus, as I said actually in this week's video, there's a lot more to adding species into the game than just having the species. And I feel this is another sort of error that people make when they're talking about adding new things to the game. They just talk about the animal as if that's all that needs to be done.
Asset transported.
If we're going to have mammals, we need everything else as well. We need all the decorations. We need new themes. Because you can't do, say, if you look at the Jurassic World and Jurassic Park themes, where are we using? Like, we've got a lot of thatch and stuff. It doesn't really suit, say, Ice Age animals, does it? So we need an Ice Age building theme. We need a caveman sort of building theme. We need all of that stuff as well, not just the animals.
Complete.
And again, I don't see many people talk about that when they talk about adding mammals into the game. They just talk about, let's have X animal, let's have this animal, that animal, and it doesn't really go, that doesn't really work. Gotta have a lot more than just the animal itself, is my point that I'm trying to make in a very long-winded way. Oh yeah, don't get me wrong, Kyrie. I think there are interesting animals. Just those won't be the ones Frontier pick. I do agree with Walking with Birds as well, that Cretaceous animals are overused and boring now. I think that was one of the big criticisms of this game that I would have is that they overdid it on the Cretaceous period stuff. You going to say hello to people? You're here, why not? Say hello.
Hello, folks. I just came in to ask if Fletcher would like buns.
I will have my show buns, yes.
That is why I came in.
Thank you. I will have my buns. Let's go for... Why did you say that? Because now they're gonna...
You're the one who just said randomly.
Yes, but now they're gonna wonder... Anyway. Let's put... like we need another couple of trees. Triassic and Jurassic is the best. Fight me. I wouldn't fight you on that. I actually think the total disrespect to the Triassic period that Frontier have shown so far is pretty insulting. The Triassic period is one of the most important periods in the dinosaurs' evolution. And I don't feel that you can make a dinosaur game without paying good enough attention to the Triassic period. Yes, slightly. You know, I don't see why we don't have Plateosaurus. Still. I kind of understood not having it in the first game because we didn't have a huge roster. But this game, the roster is huge. And we still don't have Plateosaurus. I've been asking for Plateosaurus for ages. We still don't have it. Thank you for the buns. Not to mention, there's so many other animals during the Triassic that would just be really cool for this game. Like all of the big archosaurs like Postosuchus and Phaseolosuchus. You know, all of the animals like that would be really great. I feel like we need something in the middle here. I'm just not sure what. A little tea shop, perhaps. No. I mean, I quite like that fountain, but it goes over the things. So. No, that's too big. God damn those wrecks. Maybe just like a little rocky. Okay, and then maybe. Compies, no compy enclosures. No, never, ever. Well, they're smaller than they used to be. Don't you just love shrinkflation? They are so much smaller than they used to be. Wow. About half the size. I mean, Prehistoric Kingdom is going to be handling all of the smaller animals so much better because of that the cage that they can put them in. And I feel like until Jurassic World Evolution has something like that for its small animal species, those small animals are just going to be pointless. Always. I know I don't really like using them because you just can't see them. I don't actually like how far over this is, so I'm actually gonna move this up a bit. I prefer that. That looks better. Ah, Kairu. I do remember the persistently starving themselves to death Dryosaurus. You know, it was actually surprising to have a Dryosaurus die of old age. Uh, hmm. Can be quite useful, these plant pots, as using them in like the fountains and stuff. It's just little accent plants. I'm happy with that. I think that looks quite good. Hello again, Nicholas. ranting about the Cretaceous. I think that sounds like a great first video walking with it. Okay. I'm just going to... I think I used the bushy. Yes, for this. There we are. Just to make that feel a little nicer. This area will just be like a decorative garden, so I can do that off stream. But yeah, that's basically how Dunk the Osteus zone, Devonian zone, like, finished. All the animals are still alive. Seems like the 10 Canthus are enjoying the little coral area. Oh, there's a Bungartius as well. So, down here is the next focus. And I'm kind of pondering how to lay it out. Basically, I kind of want pretty much all of this to be path, basically. But I do want there to be something in the middle. I was thinking of trying to make another sort of museum structure. Because I have these wonderful fossils from viral. So I'm thinking, why not make another museum bit down here? How big is this? That's way too big. Yeah, that was like half the size. That would be useful. Yeah, we could also put some statues and stuff in there. Obviously, it would need to be built from like the glass wall sections again. So that's so I'm thinking, like, build it roughly in between the two of them. Or how wide is this actually? Be like what, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or hang on. Maybe we can make it easier if... Okay. What if we use these for the roofs again? And then did, like, the walls around them? If we put, like, one sort of... one sort of there, and then one. One there and one there. You need my help walking with birds? How? Okay. If this is the way in, how do we then do... Okay. Okie dokie. So the way in is here. I have two glass wall sides. And we'll go wall and... because then we can do wall and wall. And then we can go and do the same down here. Pass. Pass. Glass. And then we have our hopefully entrancey walls. To be honest, I don't need the entrancey walls. I can make my own. So, if that's what we're doing, yes, you said, Rob, that you were going to use this sort of style. So let's raise it up. And then let's grab this one and go down. That's acceptable. And then let's grab this one and go down. And same thing over here. So we'll go down. Where was it positioned? Sticking up sort of the edge there. So there. And kind of there, the halfway line. Yeah. Okie dokie. And then they're kind of already in the right positions-ish, are they? Yeah, kind of. And then this one needs to be raised up as well, so up there. Well, I might be a YouTuber walking with birds, but I wouldn't say I'm overly successful at it. YouTube is difficult and takes a lot of effort and might not necessarily be successful. I've channel is small. We're at 1,000 subs. If I wanted to, I could be earning money from adverts. I haven't turned adverts on because I don't want to annoy people. Although I am thinking once we get to like 3,000 subs, I think I'm going to do that. Just because apparently it might help the channel grow. Because obviously YouTube will care more about displaying content that earns them ad money. So paradoxically, I might have to turn adverts on in order to get people to see my stuff. God, those wrecks. They don't shut up, do they? Okie dokie. I kind of feel like this one needs to be a little further in. Okay, there are tolerances here, and I'm happy with those tolerances. Give us our glass wall supports here. We'll also stop guests randomly walking through. Okay. Now, path. It's not 2006 anymore. Censoring and recommendations. So, I don't know what you mean by censoring, Demon. I haven't had any problems with stuff being censored. I mean, yeah, that's all I aimed to do when I started with YouTube, was to make content that people were interested in seeing, you know. But it is I'm actually going to take the roofs off. Yeah. Just make it a bit easier to see the insides. But yeah, YouTube is a difficult process. It's not an easy process, and it takes a lot of work. I personally would suggest like figuring out what content you actually want to make first of all, and then go from there. It's important to have a good idea. Honestly, turning off clipping makes doing stuff like this so much easier. Okay. Let's sort of connect the two sides. It gives us like a little garden spot. And I'm thinking, let's just get another color, just in order to have a different color path in here. I don't want the whole thing to be the same color. Down here. No, lip. Suppose this is what happens when you decide, I'm not going to use the flipping snap tool. Oh dear, that looks horrible. Well, I would suggest you don't do a video about ranting about the Cretaceous period as your first video. You might want to do a video explaining what the point of your channel is going to be, and then do that down the line. Okie dokie. Now, what skeletons have we got? We've got a lot of fossils that we can put in here. A lot of statues and stuff. But I'm thinking we should probably try and keep it to the marine animals. So... I think we're going to need to make use of some concrete sections. And some fencing. Sorry, I was thinking. I'm thinking, let's have like a statue or something here at the front. I'm thinking something. Plesiosaur. And I think we need some rocks. This back wall we can have our ichthyosaur. We have our ichthyosaur, or maybe mosasaur, Zyphactinus. I think the ichthyosaur. That's a very distinct style of video idea there. Bugger me. Come on. Just a little. There we go. Windows Movie Maker. You do not want to be using Windows Movie Maker for YouTube videos. If you're going to make YouTube videos, you want to use an actual video editing program. A proper video editing program. Windows Movie Maker, you can't do enough with it, really. So I would suggest if you want to do YouTube, you're going to have to get a proper video editing software. I would say if you want a decent free one, use NCH VideoPad or DaVinci Resolve. DaVinci is really complicated though for what it is. So I would suggest maybe NCH VideoPad is going to be the easier of the two to learn. I wish we had some flipping education signs. We need some fountains here, considering we're dealing with aquatics. That's really not centralized, is it? Maybe we can put some benches in here. That's fine. Now the other fossil sections, they're all on like some really thick stonework, so I think it's fine to sort of put them wherever we like, really. We don't need any concrete supporting them. One. there. Sort of lean in. This little Zyphactans kind of works there. This one. We'll double up on this one, if only because we don't have anything to. I quite like how that looks actually. They work really well. Let's have another statue or something in the middle here. Let's see, what have we got? Shame we don't have something like Dinosaurs or a big crocodilian. Shut up, Rexy. Yes, you always start small. I mean, arguably, Triclaw Gaming is still small. But I do kind of like being a smaller channel in some respects. Sometimes these huge channels are like, I'm sure they earn a lot of money, but at the same time, you don't really get to talk to people. And I kind of feel that's like the whole point of when you do a stream. Aren't you wanting to talk to people? And if you can't talk to people because, like, the stream chat is mental, then what's the point? Nice Strontosaurus statue. Yeah, I think this actually looks pretty damn good. Okay, let's light this stuff up. Nice. Then I think we can just do a really simple. When did I start my YouTube? Ooh. 3 years ago, I think. Something along that line. 3 years ago. It should be noted that Tricore doesn't... like, one of the reasons we tend to grow quite sluggishly is because we don't obey the best rules of YouTube. So as a result, we don't really grow as fast as other channels that stick more to the rules of YouTube, like chasing the algorithm and other stuff. Why does that one? Let's start with this one. There? Yeah, that looks correct. And then this one is... I think this one needs to be... There are tolerances here. I'm happy with that. So we have our little fossil museum thing there. Now what I am going to do is I want to line the outer edge with a fence of some description. I think something a little lightweight. Maybe a hedge. Oh, the hedgerow works. Yeah, three years ago. It's quite some time. And to be honest, last year was a bit disappointing for the channel in terms of growth. Like, I wanted to try and get to at least 3,000 subs last year. But after we hit about 2,500, all growth just kind of stopped. Like, it got really sluggish in the middle of the year. And then towards the end of the year, it just didn't pick up either. It was a little disappointing. This year's not been going great either, if I was to be super honest. But I'm trying not to let it bother me too much. I'm hoping that when Jurassic World Evolution 3 news properly starts, that things will pick up a bit, you know. It's why I'm kind of gutted that the new film looks as shit as it does. Like, it's the first bit of Jurassic news we've had in a while. And it's something I cannot be positive or optimistic about. I was quite gutted when I saw the trailer and was like, oh, for heaven's sake. Anyway, this is looking good. So I want, obviously, the area around this to also be heavily paved. Just going to turn snapping off again. a little bit more. Okay. Suddenly, calm. Hello again, Brinson. The exit path out. Oh. Honestly, Kyodenics movements will make stuff like this so easy. I think this this piece of fence needs to be... Okay. Excellent. Nice. Smooth. Same thing on this side. Nice. Let's move this piece of hedging a little bit. Cool. Okay, I think we need something to delineate the entrances. And I think these will do. I think that might work better. Well, it works. That delineates our entrance. Bit of an extra pizzazz. Nice. Now, the big question is how to go around connecting up. So what I want is I kind of want a double length, double width thing going on. Yeah. Okay. Why did that? Oh, trying to figure this out. Why did it delete? Well, funny you should mention that, Luna. So, me and Dana are obviously away on our trip to Scotland next week, on Wednesday. We're there until Saturday. We're going to have a look around their museum, but we're also making a stop off at the London History Museum on the way. So, what I wanted to do is take my brand new video camera and hopefully get some video footage of the London History Museum inside, and try and sort of get some good shots of the dinosaur exhibits, so I can then do a proper video on it. Because I wanted to do a video on it some time ago, but I didn't really have what I would classify as good enough pictures, so I'm gonna test my video recorder and hopefully get some really good shots. That's the intention anyway. Ah! I hope no one is in that Hyperloop tunnel. That was close. I envy the USA for great museum. Yeah, I envy the USA for museums as well. British museums are, like, nice, but I feel like they're also really kind of quaint. Quaint is the word I would use to describe a British museum. It's like, it's quaint. It's kind of cute. It's, you know. It isn't huge. They aren't huge in Britain. Let's just put it like that. Not every, you know, there are some genuinely awesome museums in this country, but none of them are like to the same level as American museums. I think part of that comes down to space. Like, a lot of American museums have been built a long time after certain periods of history. Whereas Britain, we kind of had our museums for some time. And I think that's why our museums ended up rather quaint. Because we've built all our museums in the like Victorian era and stuff. And then we had no way of expanding them. Okay, this land ramp here. Just gonna curve it round. We are actually going to make this a little wider. We are going to have another set of amenities down here. I'm thinking probably along this back wall makes sense. I think we'll have like a seating area in this bit. Fletcher, what have you done? Okay. And then obviously we're gonna make ample usage of hedgerows here. Just kind of separate off some of these zones. We're also going to make ample use of these wooden walls. All the same thing. This will be the, I think is going to be the plesiosaur and ichthyosaur tank, or whatever we decide to put in there. Maybe Shawnee. Berenson, the compies would drown. And as much as that would satisfy me, I don't think that's very nice to the compies. Nope. There. So this will be another sort of seating area. This area down here will be decorated and designed for the enclosure in there. Wondering what to do with this back area around here. Obviously, then we need to also figure out how we're connecting these two up to here. Put the amenities in down there. So yeah, a bit more to do, but hey, at least we've got our Dunkleosteus enclosure made up, and it looks pretty good, I think. And yeah, I was really happy with how this turned out in the end. I think that's a really cool sort of little museum bit. Oh yeah, we've got this gallery up here that we need to connect around here somewhere. Might make another tunnel or something. Yeah, this park is slowly coming together, I say. We've got a long way to go. I think this park will end up not being finished until Jurassic World Evolution 3 comes out. I think what I'm going to do, obviously because there won't be any streams next week apart from Sunday, and Sunday probably won't be this. I'm thinking maybe the Isle on Sunday. Or maybe SnowRunner with Fallout. Might do an all-day stream on the Sunday me and Dane come back from our holiday. I'll think about that. But yeah, so I'm going to spend probably a week away from this game, and I'm going to do a bunch of homework, basically. I'm going to get most of the area down here finished up with the major stuff, and then probably figure out how we'll do the aviary as well. I need to decide whether we're going to have like multiple small aviaries with a tour going through them, or just one really big one. I think it's probably going to be several smaller aviaries with a tour going between them. And then that tour will actually connect up down here, where I've already put tour. I don't think this will be a tour now. I think this might just be enclosures. Or it might be environmental. I'm not sure. I might just like do natural environment here, because this build is already becoming quite hefty. So yeah, it might just be natural environment down there, and we might just have some normal enclosures here. And have the aviary tour sort of come back. But yes, so we won't be playing this next Sunday. Next Sunday will probably be either the Isle or SnowRunner or something like that. Might be an impromptu all-day stream where we play a variety of games. I'll make up my mind. And like I say, Wednesday and Friday there will be no streams next week. Me and Dane will be in Inverness. There will be plenty of pictures and videos, hopefully, to show when we come back. But there will be a video on Wednesday ready to go. So do check out the video on Wednesday. I hope all of you have a really good week and have plenty to talk to me about on Sunday when I am back. And yeah, I think this ended up. Oh, this is a screenshot opportunity. I like it. Bom, 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 bom. Gotta take advantage of every screenshot opportunity you can when you make YouTube videos. Because you never know when you need a thumbnail for something. Would be better with Megalodon probably, but But yes, you thank you for the well wishes, Nicholas. I hope you all have a good week. And yeah, I will see you guys on Sunday. Until then, wherever you are, stay safe and good night.